Have you been applying to jobs but not getting invited to many interviews? Well, the solution isn't to keep applying to more jobs. In this video, I'll share a proven approach to how you can send fewer applications but get more interviews. Hey everybody, it's Yuji from Better Career, where we help you land your next tech job faster. I'm a hiring manager and I've helped hundreds of people land jobs over the past couple years using this exact strategy I'm going to share with you today. It's a complete game changer for your job search and it's the most reliable way to get interviews. I wish more people would use it, and that's why I've created this video. Look, it's no secret that we're in a hyper-competitive job market right now. Most job postings receive 500 or more applications within a day of being posted. So even if your resume is the best one in the pile, or you're the most qualified candidate, your application may never get seen by a human. Fortunately, there are a lot of jobs out there and many job seekers are getting interviews. The best strategy is to always find the key contacts at a company every time you apply for a job and then send them a specific message that makes them want to interview you. This is far more effective than submitting application after application and waiting to hear back. That just doesn't work anymore. So right now, I'm going to walk you through who you should be contacting at the company you want to apply to, how to find them, and what message you should send to them. I'll also share templates that you can use right away. And be sure to stick around until the end because I'll share 3 bonus tips that will further improve your chances of getting an interview. All right, let's dive in. So right after you submit your job application, the very next thing you should always do is find the right 3 people to send a message to. The first person is the hiring manager. This is the individual who is hiring for the position and who is the ultimate decision maker on which applicants get invited for an interview. Why should we reach out to the hiring manager? Well, the hiring manager is the person who makes the decision to hire you, and that makes them the single best person to get your message in front of. During my time as a hiring manager, hiring for dozens of open positions, I would respond to about 80% of candidates who personally reached out to me with a thoughtful message. It was partly because I received surprisingly few messages from applicants, but also because receiving a personal message showed me that the candidate was resourceful and also was someone who took initiative. And many managers I know feel the same way. They appreciate the initiative shown by applicants who message them. And I love this quote from Michael where he says, "Reaching out to the hiring manager is the reason he got the role he's currently in, and he'll never go back to tossing his resume or application into the black hole." We've certainly all experienced the black hole that applications can get lost in. That's a great way to summarize it by Michael. Even in cases where recruiters reject your application, a hiring manager can elect to move you forward in the interview process. We've seen this happen many times where a manager will override the recruiter's decision and ultimately grant an applicant an interview even if they were rejected initially. Okay, the second person to connect with is the recruiter. The recruiter reviews applications and resumes and creates a short list of candidates who will move forward in the interview process. So why should we contact the recruiter? Well, since they're usually the first human that will see your application, it's always worth reaching out to them. They may not respond because they get a lot of messages, but when they see your message, it will prompt them to pull up your application and give it a look. Recruiters are responsible for filling multiple positions across a company, so even if you're not a fit for that role that you applied for, they may be able to put you in another role that could be a better fit for you. The third person to send a message to is a peer. These are the other members of the team that are in the same role you're applying for or who are in a similar role. For example, if you're going for a sales rep position, a peer would be other sales reps who are on the same team that you would be on if you got the job. Why connect with peers? Well, they don't have as much influence over the decision to hire you as a manager does, but they can provide you with helpful insight into the company and its hiring process, which will help you navigate it. They can also refer you to the hiring manager if you make a good impression on them, which greatly increases your chances of getting an interview. And peers are usually more likely to chat with you because there are less applicants messaging them. They're getting way less messages than recruiters or hiring managers are. We've seen a lot of success in people getting interviews through connecting with peers. Now that we know who we're targeting, how do we find the right people? First, always check the job posting to see if the contact is listed. In some cases, the recruiter or even the hiring manager will be listed. And just as you can see here in this example where the recruiter is listed on this job posting for a sales development position. That makes them really easy to find, but because you found the contact so easily, it also means the recruiter is more likely to get a lot of messages from other candidates. And that's why we also want to find and message other people at the company who can also help us. Now let me quickly walk you through how to find the key contacts on LinkedIn. I'm going to walk you through how to find the key contacts for this example job of a solutions engineer at this company called Airtable. The first thing you're going to do is take the name of the job title, paste it into the search bar, and I'm just gonna put some quotes around it, so I make sure I do a focused search. Then I'm gonna make sure I filter on people, and then I'm gonna add the company Airtable because that's the company I'm targeting. And you'll see right away I get a really good list of solutions engineers. These are the peers or other individual contributors that are on this team that I can reach out to and potentially get a referral from. You can see right away there's a bunch of people. Now you can also be more focused on the region and actually filter your search by a specific location. That'll just make it more likely that they're on your team that you'll potentially join based on your region. So those are peers. Now for the leader or the manager, I'm simply going to add ing to the end of it because a manager title or a director title will be a director of solutions engineer ing. And so if I search for that, I'm going to get right away a bunch of leaders and managers, head of solutions engineering, manager of solutions engineering, pre-sales leader who's also looks to be a manager. So again, I can filter this down based on region as well, but this gives me a lot of options to potentially reach out to leaders who can influence the decision to bring me in for an interview. Now, lastly, if I want to find the recruiter, I would just simply search for recruiter, and you'll see right away I get a lot of recruiters. Now, the go-to-market recruiter or the sales recruiter are probably the most likely to be the recruiters who are recruiting for this role. I would message them both, and of course, you can always change your message for each of them. I would message them both. But even if they're not the right person, they can forward your information and your message on to another recruiter that's on their team. And that's how you find the key contacts on LinkedIn. One thing to note, the smaller the company is, the easier it is to find the key contacts. If you're applying for a position at a larger company, you'll need to narrow your search down by additional criteria such as the team or the region or business unit that the role is associated with. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd appreciate you giving it a like to spread the word in support of other job seekers out there. Thank you. Now that we've identified the key contacts, let's message them. There are two ways to reach out to the key contact. The first is through LinkedIn. Now, most candidates will message key contacts on LinkedIn, and that can certainly be effective, but the downside to LinkedIn is that that's where recruiters and hiring managers are getting most of their messages from other candidates. And some managers might not be active on LinkedIn, so they could miss your message. And that's where email comes in. Email can be a great way to contact recruiters and potential hiring managers because it's rare for candidates to send direct email, and that helps you stand out. And email is more likely to be read because managers and recruiters live in their inbox all day long, so they're sure to see your email. So how do you find their email address? Well, you can use free tools like Snove.io or Apollo.io that allow you to find the person's email address based on their name and their company. And you can find links to both of those tools in the description below. Okay, what should we say to the hiring manager, recruiter, and peers in our message? Well, if we want to get noticed and stand out, you'll need to send a thoughtful and personalized message. Blasting out a short, generic template isn't really the way to go. It's not going to work very often. But I've got you covered with some example templates that have worked really well for us. You'll use these as a starting point to craft your own message. Here's the first template that works really well when sent with using email or LinkedIn InMail because you can see it's a little bit of a longer form message. You'll notice this message provides specifics about the role and the company, as well as why you're a good fit for the role and company. The second example is similar in that it highlights your transferable skills and experience. And this third example is a shorter version that you would use when sending a LinkedIn connection request, since LinkedIn only lets you use about 300 characters when sending a connection request. Now, after this video, you can find the link to all these templates in the description below. Now, if you craft the right message and find the right person, you should get a lot of responses. If not, adjust your message and keep trying until you find a message that works for you. Now for the 3 bonus tips to increase your chances of getting invited to an interview. Always include a call to action and ask them if they're willing to chat with you. If they are, use a free tool like Calendly to make scheduling with you very easy on them. The easier you can make it on them, the more likely they are to take a call with you. The second thing you can try is to record and send a short video. You can use Loom or another free tool to do this quickly. And very few candidates do this, making it a great way to stand out. It's worked very effectively for a lot of people we work with. And you can find links to both Calendly and Loom in the description below as well. And most important is that you set a reminder to follow up if you haven't heard back from people you reached out to. Do this in a day or 2 or maybe 3 days after. A short and polite follow-up message will increase your response rate significantly. It's very important to do. Now, before you reach out, it's important that you have all the basics like your resume and your LinkedIn profile polished and ready to go with your target role in mind. We won't get into the details of optimizing your resume and LinkedIn profile here, but after this, check out my other video where I cover how to make your resume and LinkedIn profile stand out. You'll especially want to make sure your LinkedIn profile is dialed in before you contact employers, because when you reach out to them, they're gonna look at your profile. That's the first thing they're gonna do. They're gonna check you out and they're gonna decide if they wanna actually respond to you or not. And so having a good LinkedIn profile is very important to do. Now, if you need help with any part of your job search, that's what we at Better Career do. We specialize in helping you improve and accelerate your job search. We actually have a program called the Job Accelerator that gives you a step-by-step guide to landing a job offer in a competitive market. What makes this program incredibly unique and effective is that we provide you with live coaching with me and a community to support you through every step of the process, from crafting your resume and LinkedIn profile to ensuring you ace your interviews and effectively negotiate your job offer. In fact, the negotiation coaching we provide typically earns our members between $5,000 and $20,000 more on their job offer, which easily pays for the program that costs around the same price as a LinkedIn subscription. So whenever you're ready, a link to the program is in the description below. Now there you have it. Reaching out to key contacts at a company can make your application stand out and will land you more interviews. I've seen it work so many times. With this approach, you'll actually apply to fewer jobs, but end up getting more interviews. Now, there are many other ways to make your application stand out and get more interviews, and I'll dig deeper into other strategies and tactics in upcoming videos. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, what challenges are you facing in your job search or in your career that I can help you with? Add your questions below, and I look forward to reading your comments. And please don't forget to give this video a like to help other job seekers out there. And I wish you the very best in your job search and in your career.